And for this discussion, we've invited Monash University to participate. And from Monash University, we have Dr. Levitas, who's the Senior Regional Manager for Monash University, and Mr. Andrew Peters, who's the Director of New Business and Strategic Partnerships. Now, an opportunity like this doesn't come very often. It's an opportunity to, in fact, get pretty up close and personal with two people who are attracting and developing student pathways during this very strange time that's called COVID. I hope all of your families are well. I hope that you are all coping with the situation in Dhaka, and I hope that you will use the opportunity in the next 55 minutes to listen and contribute. Eduko Pathways, the organization that I'm part of, has operations in Sri Lanka, Singapore, and now Bangladesh. And we have 1,200 partner education institutions. And I must say one of our favorite is Monash. Now, I hope this is not being recorded because perhaps the other 1,999 will be upset, but Monash is one of our favorites. So we really appreciate all of you joining. Thank you for the time, and I'll turn it over to Hua.
Thank you very much, Zarif. Very kind words of you. I'm so happy that, Monash is your favorite university of all the universities in the world. So that's very, very pleased to hear. Now, hello, everyone, and hopefully that everyone is okay. And thank you very much for joining us in this section today. And it is as you can see that it is a series. We call it series because at one section for what we are going to talk about, and with you from grade 8 to grade 10, one short section like this evening is not enough. So that's why we call it our series of international admission critical success factors. And this is the section 1, all right? So what's a bright future awaiting you and how we prepare to achieve it, right? So that's the focus of the session today. And before I start, I just ask, can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me? Good, yeah. All right, thank you very much, right. Okay, well then, let's begin. So of course, you already know that we are here today because our future, because our future, and how we prepare to make the best for our future is very, very important, right? To every one of us, not, everyone, and even at my age, so old, and the future, the leftover of my future is still very important to me. So for you, it is very important, right? So it is very important to you, the grade 8 to grade 10, because it is the time for you to ask yourselves what you really want for your bright future, right? And how you prepare for that goal. So our session today brought to you, of course, as Mr. Zarif Muni said, that to you by Monash University and Eduko. And the aim is to help you with directions, with guidance, and with choice, and some answers to your questions. The answers that you still have, we can leave them for the next sections. So we have only 30 to 40 minutes to do this in a panel style, right? So the panel consists of a Monash University director, and you can see that, and 2 current students for question and answer. So even though I have already received a few questions from you, I am encouraging you to send more questions via the chat box. All right, you can see the chat box. Please send the questions via the chat box, and then the panelists and we will try to answer as many questions as possible. So without any further ado, firstly, I'm very pleased to introduce my supervisor, our Monash University director, the new business and strategic partnership. You see, we always have the word new business and strategic partnerships, very important. So his education and experience ranged very wide and very long. And I actually believe this special year, the COVID year, has proved his talent, his initiatives, and his devotion. And I believe that he will harvest much higher and greater achievements for his future. So you will watch and see, you know, my supervisor go high up in the ladder of the career, of his career. So Mr. Andrew Peters. So hi, Andrew.
Thanks, Wah. Yeah, thanks for those compliments. Not deserved, but thank you. But I want to highlight a couple of things before we kind of kick off. Is the great support that Eduko has provided Monash through many years. It's been a challenging year, but I think the great thing about Eduko is that they've got talented people across the whole, every role within the company. So we really appreciate your support, and they've got the experience to help students achieve their dreams. So thank you for your ongoing support. Also, I want to acknowledge like almost 200 students here tonight. It's been a challenging year. I think everybody's over these Zoom meetings and that, but you've done the first step by coming here tonight, and it's about getting your answers. So I really, hats off to all the students or prospective students who've come to tonight, because you've made the first step, is being proactive. And if there's one key takeaway, I'd always say, even when you get into Monash or any other university, there's opportunities out there, but you've just got to be proactive, and you should, hats off to you. Even if your parents are forcing you to come tonight, well done. So I just wanted to make those 2 points, but happily to address any questions tonight. And if you've got any questions regarding, you know, how the Australian system works versus what you've heard about the UK, the US, happy to address all those questions as well.
Very good. Thank you very much. And secondly, I'm also very happy to have 2 Monash current students whose age is very, very close to you. So Riza is from Bangladesh and Min from Vietnam. And they are both just completed their first year of the double degrees at Monash University. So they will also answer your questions, and as well as giving their examples, all right, how they started the journey, how they prepared for the journey. So I listened to them and they are absolutely amazing, all right? So hi, Riza and Min.
Hello.
Great, all right then. Good. Now, so I think I will start. I got a few questions that I have received before through the students. So can I start the first question with Andrew, please? So you already know that in Bangladesh, you see, there are and will be more opportunities for students to undertake a bachelor degree overseas, all right, or at home in Bangladesh. But could you please tell the students here today, what are the key benefits to study overseas? And any comparisons among, you know, Australia or, you know, America or some countries, you know, that popular in the country? Yeah, good question, Wah. In terms of why you should look for an international degree or why you should look abroad, is that I always think of my situation. Many years ago, I graduated from another university based in another state of Australia. And I think I had to move where there was greater opportunities. And also, when you look back on your degree, it's not only the piece of paper at the end of it, but it's also the skill sets that you collect along the way. And one of the abilities to go, and I guess you've got current students here today to ask, is what are the other add-ons that, you know, really, if you're getting a degree, whether it's at home or abroad, does it focus on an international lens? All right, we live in a world where
you know, social media and everything like that is bringing these distances closer together. So we've got to communicate with different cultures. The other thing which I think is very important is that in your degree, does it have work experience? Because as you graduate and you go into the task, you go into the workforce, and they'll go, what sort of experience do you have? The ability to say, well, I took an internship at blah, 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 blah. Then it's a unique value proposition. The other thing which I'd be encouraging, and one of the great things about Monash, apart from our international lens, that when you do come to Australia, would encourage you to go abroad and actually look at other locations, such as, you know, whether it's Malaysia or the US or other locations around the world. Many of our programs have an inbuilt intern opportunities or even overseas study abroad opportunities. So there's a whole range of factors, but I think deep down, when you look at Monash University, we are one of the youngest universities in the top 100 in the world. We're known for our double degrees, and if you want to do a professional degree, you can directly go straight into that and tick off the degree within 3 to 5 years, depending on if you're doing medicine or arts. And, you know, you've got a lot of current students today that will probably talk about their entry into these professional degrees were. And so I think they'll be able to talk about some of the further points of why they chose to explore an international degree.
Great, great answer there, Andrew. Thank you very, very much for the in-depth information. And you know, as a successful career personnel, what do you think that when the students should start their preparation? Now, in grade 8 or 9 or 10?
Yeah, I think the difference between Australia and other countries is that we do have a rolling intake. So I'm a big believer is that you can be proactive now, even though I might be in year 11 or 10 or 9. The great thing about university is that you can apply and start the ball rolling or engage and find out. All our admissions is very transparent, so you'll see it on the website. So one of the things that I'd be starting to do is go, right, to gain entry, it's pretty simple. Apart from medicine, where there's more interviews and other attachment criteria, I'd be going, right, if I'm interested in engineering, right, what are the prerequisites do I need? All right. Then making sure that I'm doing the right prerequisites, you know, English, what sort of level of English do I need and what is the marks? If you achieve that, then you actually got a secured spot in the degree. So by pre-planning, you know, as I say, you get good results, it opens the breadth of courses that you can choose from, but also it gives you a gauge of what your passion's about, and the ability to do the double degree that we talked about is the ability to basically almost consolidate 2 degrees in a short amount of time.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Now, I would like to ask the 2 students, maybe I start with Ming first, all right? So when did you start preparing for, for the journey of studying overseas or studying at Monash? You chose Monash, all right? So when did you start preparing for studying at Monash?
Thanks for the question, So I started to develop my desire for studying abroad as early as when I was 12 years old. That was the first time that I was actually got exposed to English, a completely new language that I have never learned before. And learning a new language more or less comes along with learning the cultures as well. And Melbourne has always been one of the top of the list when it comes to my dream city, since it is usually referred to as the most livable city in the world. And I've also been inclined to artistic activities since a very young age. because I was inspired by those beautiful music videos and movies and those eye-catching creative products I saw on TV and like all around my places. So little by little, my design and my passion for design become stronger, which leads to my decision to pursue design as a long-term profession. And the reason why I chose Monash is that apart from design, I'm also really interested in studying business. And Monash University has always been renowned for its reputation. And specifically for my case, I chose Monash for its flexibility. For example, its double degree program has given me a chance to really compress a 6-year-long study program into a compact 4-year program, which means that I have another 2 years to do other things that I love to do. So I think that's a win-win for me, and that was also the reason why I chose to study abroad and Monash as well.
Thank you very much, Min. So I hope the students present, today would see that, preparing early is very good, and then also choose the right university that can accommodate your passion as well as your needs. So in your case, the double degree so that you can satisfy your design passion, but also combine with the business so that you can have a business mindedness. Is that right? Great.
Yes, absolutely.
Raisa, yes, thank you very much, Min. What about Raisa? When did you prepare to, for your studying overseas and why?
Thank you for the question, Hoa. I've wanted to go to Australia for the longest time. I think, like Min said, since I was 10 years old or even younger. But because of, the weather, the number of universities, the diversity in Australia, it's absolutely amazing. I feel like, it's a very welcoming country. But inside Australia, there are many universities that I had to choose from. So it did take a lot of time for me to, go through every university, what the programs they're offering, all the degrees that they're offering, what I would like, how they are, how they have designed their programs. I chose Monash because I'm studying education. It's a very different degree from the things that we hear normally, especially in Bangladesh. But I chose education and Monash because they offered practical learning as well, like placements. Throughout the year, I would get placements, and that would help me in the learning process and would actually help me get into the market much quicker and more easily. So starting to prepare from, I guess, 10th grade right after your O-levels, I think is a good idea, because researching and seeing which university is suitable for you and which university you want to choose is very important.
Thank you very much, Raisa. And also, could you please tell a little bit about yourself, like where you come from, and and how long you have been here in Melbourne? Thank you.
I'm Raisa, and I'm from Bangladesh, and I studied in Sunbeam School. I did my O-levels and A-levels from there. And I moved to Australia. I graduated from Sunbeams in 2019 and started my degree in Monash in 2020, February. And I've been in Melbourne since.
Thank you, Raisa. Right. And what about Min? Could you please, say a little bit about yourself to the students present today?
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Vietnam, and I just finished my first year in the undergraduate program of Business and Communication Design in Monash University. And I was also previously a Monash College student, participating in the Monash University Foundation Year program, or MOFI. So I've been in Melbourne for almost 2 years now.
Great, thank you very much, Ming. So Ming, not only, you undertook the Monash University Foundation year, right? So actually, could you, now, a lot of students in our audience today will in a couple of months, will sit for the O levels, which means, like year 11. So in that case, after they finish year 11, say, instead of doing like 2 years of the A levels, they can just get into the Monash University Foundation year for 1 year instead of 2 years, you see. So could you please tell us a few benefits of studying the foundation year at Monash College? Thank you, Ming.
Yeah, sure. So my story is almost the same. So I finished my year 11 in Vietnam, and instead of actually studying the year 12, which is the last year in the high school program in Vietnam, I went to Melbourne and participate in the foundation year program. So personally speaking, I think it is a really helpful experience for me, and it's almost like a wonderful pathway if you want to excel in Monash University, because the teaching system is almost the same, and the teaching and learning experience is almost the same as what I experienced in Monash University. So I got a chance to study my prerequisites subjects, as well as get used to the life in another country and get used to the cultures and almost everything like brand new here. So I think that taking part in the foundation year program may be a fantastic choice if you want to attend Monash University in the future.
That is great. Thank you very much, Ming. And Raisa, you see, you started 2 years, AS and A2 in at Sunbeam College school. Now, I've been to that school as well, all right? So lovely school, and I got quite a few friends, teachers over there. Now tell me why you said that you did a good research, a lot of university in Australia. You loved Australia, of course, but then you did a good research. And tell us why you chose Monash. What benefits that Monash gave you, and especially for from your perspective, from as a in education, as a female student. Could you tell us a couple of things? Thank you.
I chose Monash because of the design of program that they have there. It's a 4-year double major honors course, and they provide placements. Their faculty is extremely helpful, and I'm pretty sure it's not just because of my faculty. And every faculty I have, all my friends, they say how helpful their faculty is. And I think the community that Monash is, I think it's extremely wholesome, and you feel like you fit right in and you enjoy learning in Monash. The teachers and students really work well together. Monash also has an amazing campus. So, the things that we don't get in Bangladesh, the experience of a full campus, going around and meeting new and having the university experience. And I think, going to Monash really helped more than any other city campuses like Melbourne or RMIT. Monash's campus really stood out. It really brings the community together. Yeah, that's why.
Thank you very much, Raisa. That's great. All right. Now I've got a lot of questions from the audience, sending in through the chat box. And let me answer some of the questions, like a group together. So some of the questions from the student asked whether at Monash students can take 2 majors. All right. Now the answer is yes, and we actually encourage students to take 2 majors. All right. So different from other universities or other universities overseas, at Monash, you do the Bachelor of Business, for example, okay, or the Bachelor of Arts, for example, right? 3 years only. But within the 3 years, you can choose 1 major or 2 minors. It's up to you. Or you can choose 2 majors. And guess what? It's even better in this way. So say, for example, if you do the Bachelor of Business in the Monash Business School, the largest school in Australia, all right, the largest business school in Australia, put it that way, and one of the largest business school in the world as well. So you do the Bachelor of Business, right? You take 1 major in your degree, yet you have 8 elective subjects to take in other faculties to make up another major, you see. So we are truly multidisciplinary, kind of like a, graduates there. And Mr. Zarek Mooney would agree with me that nowadays employers look for students, look for graduates with multidisciplinary knowledge. Isn't it right, Mr. Zarek Mooney?
I think so. I think these days, in fact, more than just the degree that you have, it's important to get exposure beyond the actual education. So I think multidisciplinary makes a lot of sense. I think while there's a lot of questions here on scholarship as well, you're probably going to get to it, but probably should cut it off.
Yeah, well, so let's cover the 2 major things around, and it might be a bit of a Q&A between me and you, Wah, regarding this. So a lot of passionate questions around, right, if I was a student in Bangladesh and I was applying for a scholarship, like there is the merit scholarships that are 100 to 50%, they're very competitive. What is the process do I need to undertake to be considered? And then the second question is, what do I need to put in there that gives me realistically a good chance of getting those 50 to 100% scholarships? So that's my first 2 questions to you, Wah.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Let me unpack the questions. All right. Firstly, as you said, Monash has the leadership scholarship for international students. So this leadership scholarship is 100% tuition fee waiver. And from Bangladesh so far, the 2 or 3 students have achieved this scholarship. All right. So to be able to apply for this scholarship, students must have at least 3 things. One is that academically they must be very, very good, top notch. All right. Of course, English must be top notch as well. And 2, they must have a statement of purpose that shows or that demonstrates that they also have a kind of like a leadership potential, because the title, if you look at if you think about it, you look at the title of the scholarship, it's called Leadership Scholarship. All right. And the third thing is the full offer from Monash. Right. And I think my sessioner, my colleagues will send the link to everybody, the link for the scholarship to everybody. Now, the second one would be the merit scholarships. All right. So by the time that you get to the university, then we hope that we will have more. At the moment, we have about 30, 31, sometimes 37 scholarships, depending, for merit scholarships. So it's about 30% worth to tuition fee, right? The same thing. You have to have a very good results. You have to have a statement of purpose, and also a full offer from Monash. Now, the third one is a study grant. That means it is when you commence the study with Monash, you are, pardon me, you are offered certain grant. So far, Monash University is very, very fond of Bangladeshi students. So that is why most of my students from Bangladesh would receive the study grants. So for example, for 2021, 10,000 grants. So that would be, you know, like a 25% off the tuition fee for the first year, right? Now, we also have the grants for the pathway for foundation year or for Monash College Part 2. So we will send you the link after this. We will send the link to Eduko and then send it all to everybody, and you can check it out. And if you need more questions, more answers, you can always let Eduko know, and then we, you know, work very close together. Or we can do another session about scholarships and how to win them. All right. So now we also have another set of scholarships for enrolled students. That means that you already get into Monash, but then you study very, very well. So you also receive the prizes. So for Monash, there are always awards for excellent students, one way or the other, okay? So it varies from faculties to faculties, but you get that. And also awards for the graduates, especially to do the PhD. Now, say for example, a lot of students, I looked through the questions very quickly, and a lot of students asked whether they would like, they could get into engineering or automobile or things like that. So the Bachelor of Engineering at Monash is excellent program. It is a 4 years engineering honor. And some of my kids, not my own kids, but like my kids, all right? So you are, you know, if you come to Monash, you become my kids as well. So some of my kids, you know, my friends' children actually finished the Bachelor of Engineering honor. And because of their results are good, like above 80, 83, 84, 85, they are also offered the PhD scholarship. Skip the master, straight to the PhD, full tuition fee waiver, as well as they receive the more than 30,000 stipend, you know, to live on. Now, that is actually the excellent award after 4 years study, okay? So, Andrew, have I answered the question?
Yep. I've got some more questions, so I'm just summarising some of the other questions coming through. So, the difference between applying to Australia and particularly Monash versus the North America, because I can see some of these North American lingo in there. So, when you apply to Monash University, you do not need to have any supportive letters from your counsellors or anything like that. You do not need to attach any extra curriculum, like, you know, you might have done scouts, etc., the whole range of things. We focus on your academic performance and have you actually, one, within your academic performance, meet the entry requirement, and two, have you done the prerequisites? That's basically it. If you can tick off that, that's your acceptance rate. We don't have acceptance rate. We basically, if you meet that criteria, you're actually in. So I know Seshna shared the handbook link for 2021, but if everybody goes, and remember, on page 46 is the entry requirements for every single program for the undergrad for 2021. If you're looking at 2023 or 4, things might change, but it only change slightly, but that will almost guarantee a little bit. If you go higher than those entry requirements, you're actually in. So that gauge. Apart from medicine, where there might be an what's called education, where there might be other additional tests, but it's pretty straightforward in terms of the assessment. And You can apply anytime. We have essentially an intake. We have technically 3. So you've got the traditional one in Australia, which starts at the end of February. You've got the mid-year one, which tends to start at the end of July. And this year we started our new November intake. Next year, or coming, it'll be the 25th of October will be the 3rd intake. And there'll be more. The October intake will kind of mirror the first semester intake as well. So there'll be more programs available. But that's how it works with Monash and Monash in Australia.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. So in short, it is very, very simple to apply in terms of requirements, and very good for you today, because we have an Eduko in Dhaka, all right, in Bangladesh. So, and they are very good. They will take care of your application if you want them to help you, okay? So all the documents they know very well, and we will send you, you know, the soft copy of the brochures. I think the brochure for 2022 is already there, so you will have that, okay? No, I can see some questions asked whether they need to take SAT, SAT, or ACT. It's up to you. It's up to you. If you don't want to spend like a $200 US to sit for the SAT because you already take IB or you already take A levels, then no need to. All right. For Monash, we accept A levels. We love IBs, of course, and 3 A level subjects. That's the maximum that we calculate in the score. Okay. However, if you take SAT or AT, and then you also have the A-level results, we will see which one is the highest to choose from, all right? Now, and someone asked whether they need to sit for IELTS. It depends of the subjects that you take in the A-levels, but if you have the English in the O-levels, okay? And if you have a B and A, that's fantastic. If you have a C, certain programs take C, great as well, as long as they are in 3 years validity, right? If it is a medical, yeah, the medical, then you need A in the O level, okay? English A in the O level, all right? And very, very high score. You need to achieve 3 straight A's, okay? Or if it is IB, as high as possible. They don't say how high as possible. And for the medical, there's a range of criteria, not just only the score. Oh, okay. Now somebody asked financial aid, but you know, Andrew already grouped in the scholarship. We call it scholarship. We don't call it financial aid.
Right, Zarif, can I pose a couple of questions to you if you don't mind?
Please do.
Great. What makes Monash different to other Australian universities?
Right, in that case, can I actually show my, you know, like the 4 points of the unique benefits of Monash University? All right?
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Can I share the screen with the audience? Thank you. Right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. All right, see, you can see that there are 4 unique benefits of Monash University, all right? So it's a world top brand, all right? And it is your global brand. Monash actually has been awarded one of the most global universities in the world, all right? And it is a very, very rare university of this type in Australia. And of course, if you join Monash, you are one among a very creative community. And we are very, very proud of our global brand as well as a global creative community. That is benefit number one, unique benefit number one. And I will elaborate a little bit on that. And unique number two, and as Raisa and Min have explained through their experiences, right? And the choices of their courses, you can see that the options and flexibility, right? Almost very, very unique at Monash, because maybe some other university also give students certain options and certain flexibility, but at Monash, it is so flexible, so many options that it is actually personalized. The students program is down to very, very personalized program, right? Because of the choice that the students make, because of the subjects that students choose to make their majors, to make their minors, to pick and choose, to meet their needs and passion. Now, and this is the very unique too, but I also put it in number two, unique number two, that is the 21st century methodology. So you can say it in a simple way, the learning style, the teaching style at Monash, it is totally unique, all right? And unique number three is an excellent graduate for global employability, right? Maybe a lot of other universities also say so, but for Monash, as you said before, that multidisciplinary knowledge is very important in securing a job. The set of skills are also very important. It is not just only a degree. At Monash, it is a total package, a brand degree, all right? The knowledge, the set of skills, and the whole thing that the student graduates from, okay? And number four, make a positive change and impact for themselves, for their small community, and for a bigger community, and for the world, to join in the contribution as a global Monash community, all right? So I will very quickly elaborate.
So Hua, before you elaborate, sorry, I remember when I was a student in Bangladesh, I needed a scholarship to go overseas, and I needed a job at the end of my degree. I needed, to have confirmation because my parents had to pay for it, right? So when you think about students studying at Monash, what are the outcomes for students? Do they get good jobs? What do they do once they graduate?
Very good job. Okay. In that case, I forgot to go to the graduate outcome straight away to answer that question of yours. All right. That is a benefit number three. Okay. That is for global employability.
Yeah. Well, right, I think we can simplify it in terms of, I think, the ability to go anywhere. What we see is our graduates. So the days are gone where traditionally some people would seek Australia and just say, well, I'm coming for migration reasons and that. What we're seeing, particularly our graduates are going, I always look, you can go on our LinkedIn, we can share our LinkedIn page where our alumni are. Majority are in North America, and they are not Americans who come out here. Most of them are from Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia. Like our degrees, engineering is accredited by the Washington Accord. You can go basically work in any country around the world, and the credentials are recognized. So the great thing about, obviously, one is the career outcomes, and you can tap into a global network. The fact that also the benefit of coming to Australia, when the borders open up and everything like that, international students can work 40 hours a fortnight, minimum wage is around $20 an hour. You don't have to apply for that. That's embedded in your visa. So there are those, the ability to obviously get career outcomes at the end, but also the ability to get some work experience and earn some money while you're studying.
So my last question actually is to the two students who are on the call. Raisa and Ming, for a lot of the students in Bangladesh, studying at home cannot be a permanent solution, right? You are now in university. How are you dealing with COVID, how are you dealing with the learning? Because you're not all going to classes all the time, right? So how are you studying?
This my faculty especially has, because I'm studying education, and this COVID has shown a whole side of teaching, and we had to adapt to it as pre-service teachers. And our teachers have been extremely helpful. They were at our beck and call. We would send an email regarding anything, they would help us immediately. They one-on-one Zoom. They have also changed and designed our assignments and assessments according to, COVID situation. I think Monash has very, very quickly adapted to this pandemic. And I don't think it has been as difficult as I expected it would be to study at home in front of the laptop.
Got it.
Yeah.
Min, for you?
Yeah. As Reza have mentioned, the amount of support the university provide for the students are almost endless. So not only do the teaching staff support the students, but there are also a lot of great resources online for students to access. For example, the Monash University library staff, as well as the peer mentors and other staff, other programs on the Moodle pages that we can get access almost every single day. And it's really helpful, because when I am at home, of course, I cannot get access to all of the physical resources that are provided on campus, but the university in fact have came up with more, I think that like a lot more resources for me to access online, so it's make my study much easier.
Thank you.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Along with studies, our faculty has tried to incorporate a lot of fun, more activities, just so, the studies that don't become monotonous, and, would uplift our spirits and make studying enjoyable. I think that really helped. And one more thing was, we didn't get to meet our peers at all. So when our school decided to organize such events, whether it be online, it really helped us to get to know our peers and make more friends.
Got it. Thank you. Hua, there's a lot. There's a lot of comments here, Hua, about why Australia. So one thing I love about Bangladesh is nobody holds back. I mean, I must thank all you students. No one is scared about asking a question. So I think, Hua, the question for me is, a lot of people are saying, hey, why not Canada? In fact, some people are saying, hey, can you please stop writing in this chat, write to me directly, because Canada is more interesting, UK is more interesting, America is more interesting. What do you have to say about Australia? Why Australia?
Well, I was an international student before, all right? And then I was also from Vietnam. And when I started my journey, I was kind of like a mature, right? So in that case, I would have all these countries right in front of me, and I chose. And I of course I chose Australia because pros and cons, all different countries. I looked at America, I looked at Canada, I looked at UK, I looked at Australia, I looked at New Zealand, all these in my time, and even nowadays, the 5 English-speaking countries. And then when I looked at the benefits, and I looked at pros and cons, all those countries, of course, except New Zealand. Well, yeah. New Zealand actually in my days not on the radar yet, so only 4 countries basically. But now from Vietnam Vietnam is very close to Bangladesh, all right? So for me to have a long flight to UK or to Canada or to the US, it's already, you know, like make me think, oh, should I do it? If I want to visit my family again, you know, it takes a lot of time. That is the first thing. And two, the weather, all right? So here it is, you know, if you want the hot, you have a hot weather. If you want the, you know, the cold weather, you have the cold weather. If you want everything is within the arm's reach. If you want the beach is right there. If you want the mountain, snow, so it doesn't drive 3 or 4 hours away. So that's it. See, for me as a woman, I like that's the change of the climate, not just only too hot or too cold or snow all the time. All right, freezing all the time, no. So that's the weather. And then the people, right? Of course, people would say that, okay, in America, in Canada, in UK, very multi-cultural. However, in Australia, it is one of the most, if not the most, multicultural. And the way that Australian, you know, because of their unique feature of some kind, maybe the country is too large and the population is not too big, very small. So people are very warm. So everybody coming in, they just embracing. So ask Raisa, ask me if they have any experience of, you know, like races or huge challenges, or they actually adapted straight away. Absolutely, I adapted straight away, and a lot of children also adapted away.
Well, maybe one question for you. You know, you're speaking to students from many different countries. I think what the people on this webinar can benefit from, perhaps, is your thoughts on how you're finding students preparing to go overseas. What are some of the big lessons that you're seeing across students, across the countries? What are they doing? What advice do you have?
Yes, so for the students that I have experienced or I have interviewed and with their parents as well, as a mean and as a Raisa just said, and as, you know, Andrew also mentioned, and I think you also mentioned before, that they started early. All right, they did the research early. They started preparing early, and they just know they just ask themselves the question: what do they really want for their future? And then step out of their comfort zone, be determined, be brave, and then try to get it. All right. So that's how they prepare, and see, also look at themselves and see what they lack so that they should improve, whether they lack speaking skills, or they lack, you know, the writing skills, or they need to improve the prerequisites or whatever. They need to put their goal right, you know, in front of them. So if they have this path prepared, right, from the very early on, they always get it right. Of course, you know, like a of students wouldn't, you know, would know what, let's say 50% of students know what they wanted to do straight away. However, 50% of students do not know what they really want to do. So if they actually are not sure, even in year 12, all right, even in year 12, even at the AS or A2 level, they are not sure what they want to do. So they should take, depends on what they should think about themselves, what they really are interested in, or what they are comfortable, what subjects they are comfortable with, then go for that. If they are not comfortable with mathematics, I am not, all right? So do not try to force themselves to study mathematics, for example. Go with the social sciences, because say, for example, at Monash, the Faculty of Arts and Humanity and Social Sciences is a huge faculty, and they offer a lot of majors for people like myself, or the education faculty offer a lot of streams for students. Now, if they are strong, and Bangladeshi students are very strong, most of them very strong at the natural science subjects, all right? Go for it. Go for engineering, go for information technology, go for science, right? So if we have, go for your passion. But but at Monash, it's also good in a way that, you know, you go for your passion, but you also go for what your parents want you to do. You can combine that by doing the double degree or taking another major.
Got it. Tushar, do you want to bring us home? I think we're out of time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Roy. It's a fantastic session, and the questions and the answers will just go on. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We are coming back again on 14th of this December. So all of you who wants to join the 14th, that would be for a higher session, of course, for the grade 11 and 12. But still it's open for all of you. If you guys want to join, just drop us a mail at info@edukopathways.com. I would again like to thank Hoa, Andrew, Min, Raisa, all of you have shared your opinions here. It was a fantastic session. So if you guys allow me, we can close this.
Thank you very much, Tusha. Thank you very much, Zarif, and thank you so much, Andrew and Ming and Raisa and Sashna and all the students and parents, you know, who are present here today. You know, the session is very short. Usually I would have, you know, at least 2 hours for a session because so many questions that students and parents often ask. However, I hope that this session with Monash University and Eduko you know, could give you at least, you know, some direction, some guidance, or some, you know, breaking through about how you should choose your passion or combine your passion and the needs from the parents, all right? And at least you have the Monash University there to accommodate all the needs that you have and build up the future, the brighter future, okay? So it is a pleasure, absolutely a pleasure to be with you today, and I am amazed at the number of participants and the interest that the questions, you know, sent in. Thank you so much again for your time and your attention, and please take care because the COVID-19 is still, you know, not good in Bangladesh. So please take care, and I look forward to having another section with you guys next time. Thank you all.
So much. Thank you so much, Dr. Hoa. With this, we'll have to close this session, unfortunately. But thank you all for joining us today. It was amazing, and hope to have you guys soon again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thanks. Great.